Hi, I'm Catherine Auman. I wanted to talk to you up today about some really good books for Tantra, recommended reading. I had some questions about it, so I just wanted to give you my top, 8, kind of in the order that I like them, or the order that they've had meaning for me. The first one would be this book by Osho, Tantra. This is like the Bible. This is the Supreme Understanding. So this is really mind-blowing. It's not any sort of technique, or it's the basic philosophy and worldview of Tantra, which is very different from the conventional worldview. It's the worldview that all is sacred and that we're all on a spiritual path attempting to live in this moment. A great teacher who's also a disciple of Osho is Margot Anand, and I have her book, The Art of Everyday Ecstasy, but I've read all of her books. A lot of people start with the Art of Sexual Ecstasy. I think that's the name of it. Let me check really quick. Her most famous book, The Art of Sexual Ecstasy. Well, anyway, this is The Art of Everyday Ecstasy. Her famous book is The Art of Sexual Ecstasy. So anyway, all Margot Anand books. Margot teaches from this same philosophical point of view, but she also gives some techniques, practices you could do alone or with a partner. She's still with us, teacher from Bali. She's a great teacher. She's calling herself now the grandmother of Western Tantra, and she's wonderful. This teacher, Diana Richardson, I have to say I had to stop reading and put it aside for a while because I realized that all the things that I thought about sex and love and intimacy, and I had been studying it for a long time, we're going to have to go to a whole new level. So her book here is called The Art of Tantric Sex, but she has many books, all of which I've read, not all, but most of which I've read. And she teaches with her husband, Michael, in Switzerland, but we're able to read her books here. So Diana Richardson is a great teacher. A lot of the female Tantra teachers are female because it is a tradition that started with the yoginis in the East as much as 6,000 or more years ago. So a lot of it has to do with transmission through women. And Daniel Odier, who I've been taking classes with online, I read this book years ago. This is a gorgeous story of how he, as a young man, went and found a female master in India. Wow, when I read that, I didn't even know there were female masters. It really helped. And this is his story of surrendering to her and her teachings, and he imparts the teachings of this book. It's short, it's easy to read. All of these books so far are quite easy to read, and it's quite a delicious intro. This book is another teacher from Osho. This is Ma Anand Sarita and her partner Swami Anand Geho, and this is Ecstatic Sex, a guide to the pleasures of Tantra. This is a little bit like the old book, The Joy of Sex, because it has a lot of techniques and photos of how to do it, and how it's a kind of a complete manual on sex, including sexual techniques. It's not really about the philosophy, the deep-rooted underpinnings, but it is quite practical. This book is quite dense, called Passionate Enlightenment, Women in Tantric Buddhism. And this, only if you really like to read and you like to read very dense things, I would recommend this. But for me, I loved it. It's all about this female lineage, the great masters, the great female masters. That I grew up in a very patriarchal religion, so this helped me a lot to understand that there was this great lineage of female Tantra masters. This is not a book about Tantra per se, but it's Transcendent Sex by Dr. Jenny Wade. And she did a study on people who have had what they consider to be transcendent sex experiences. So they might be hallucinating that they're animals, or they might hear things or see colors, or all kinds of incredible experiences. So she's a reputable therapist doing this study on people who've had these experiences through sex. Really expands your idea of what's possible and gives you something you might want to work on in your life. And of course, I have to mention my book, Tantric Dating, which is a book that when I was single for so many years, I realized that I wasn't finding anyone because I wasn't loving enough. So I put together for you the things that I learned I put together for myself what I learned in Tantra. Kept trying to put that together in the conventional dating world, and I figured out a way to date that is loving and also brought me my perfect love. So people are saying that this book is not only for singles, it helps you meet other people, just other people in a more loving way, but that's a book I could recommend for you. So those are books on Tantra. We have a lot of workshops on Tantra coming up, but in the meantime, you can do your homework.